was working on the open land board, and two of the positions will be from the county council, and Councilman Farrell and Councilman Park were appointed to that position. The two at-large positions, it was recommended by the county attorney that I present those for approval, and we'll dot our I's and cross our T's, I think, if we do this. I would propose for the two positions Justin Keys and Tracy Taylor.
I'll make a motion that we approve those.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Park and a second by Mr. Farrell to accept the county manager's recommendation for the two names for Wasatch County Wasatch Open Lands Board.
Steve and
Spencer. But this is specific to the two at-large, or
the two at-large.
Any discussion on the motion? Not the vote, Mr. Crittenden.
Yes.
I'm so hesitant about this Miss Taylor character.
Any concerns?
She's got it on camera.
So we need to go into closed session.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't know me by now, I can't help you
We're
there.
in trouble.
All right, I'll vote yes on that.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. The next county assessor is asked to discuss possibility of changing the work days to 10-hour days, and so I've just invited her here, and you guys can have the discussion. It's certainly in your realm of jurisdiction to make those types of decisions, and so
It looks like we're on for discussion only today, and then we can maybe decide if we want to take action on it.
No, that's probably something we did direct Mike to do.
Oh, is it?
yeah, I
Don't
can
necessarily need
actually,
action, we can just discuss and
if
decide.
you direct me to do that, I can take the action to do that. But
All right.
Hey, I have a question. Have we ever considered doing that countywide?
yeah, we've talked about this a couple of times over the years. There were concerns, there are a couple concerns. Some of the departments, even if we do it, some of the departments have to be open 5 days a week. So you have to stagger employees, and if you don't have enough employees to stagger, some of our departments are small, you can't do that. We do this in Public Works, for instance, seasonally. So in the summertime, if we're doing large gravel projects or hauling projects, we actually are more efficient to run 410s because we can get more work done during the business hours and then give them a day off. But it doesn't work all the time in everything. So it's more case-by-case businesses at this point to look at it. We do recognize we do need to be open 5 days a week. So if we can cover that during the 5 days, this is a consideration.
You've mentioned, could you just outline what we do now? What departments or what functions of the county are just 4 day, 14
Well, Public Works is the only thing that we've done anything to allow that, and that's only on a seasonal basis because they're on call 24/7. So if it snows or if there's a flood or if there's certain projects. But during the summer, sometimes we have construction projects, road construction projects specifically, that we've allowed the 410 to work because we're putting people in trucks hauling gravel from Utah Valley to the Forest Service or something like that. And if we run on the 10-hour schedule rather than an 8, it makes us more efficient in that hauling process. We've only done it on those types of projects.
On this county assessor, you mentioned that only, offices need to be open. Was this proposal to do a staggered?
Well, I would rather let
We're gonna have Buff come.
I'd rather let her present that.
Tell us what she like and make.
She hasn't really presented me other than the idea, and so that's something certainly
So we put it on.
discuss.
I know she sent us both an email to ask to be on the agenda, and I seem to respond, so I did not. So
Buff, why don't you come up and
First off, humble condolences to the Peterson family. If there's anything anybody in our office could do, we're happy to. Second off, thank you for the new appraiser you allowed us to have. Unfortunately, he's come and gone.
do you mean he's come? What do you mean by he's come and gone? He's quit.
He's quit.
When did your job announcement end?
The 26th of
Have you got any
January.
applications as of yet?
No. We,
Why'd you quit?
he went back to the fee world and he also had other endeavors. So, anyway, that's an ongoing problem for, I think, the whole country, not just us.
But we do have the job open again, and we expect to fill that at some point. Correct?
Yes. Yes, thank you. So in our office, we're regrouping. I have to go back to appraising now. So if I can't do some of the duties you require of me, I will try to, okay? The person who left, we had taken half of Allen's area in Jordan now because of its horrific expansion there. So that's the area I've taken back over. So at this time, we're requesting to be able to change our office, and I could have moved on this before. We had the DMV in our office, and shortly that will move to outside of our office, and because of the amount of people that come in all the time, I did not want to disrupt that process. So knowing that it's going to change real soon, that's why I opt to finally come and request this. I feel personally, and I had talked to the state, in fact the state talked to me, other counties are having a problem with this, so this was one of their suggestions. So for me, my version of things is I feel we'll be able to get a lot more work done and accomplished without the interruptions that we get between 8 to 5 hours, and by July 1st, as you know, in our county it's grown. We had received as many new building permits as we had the whole of last year. So we are swamped. In order for us to do that,
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Did you say we've gotten as many building permits this
as
year?
of July 1st of 2017 as we had the whole previous year. It would alleviate the need to work overtime, and that's a cost that would be cut. It wouldn't cost the county anything to change it to 410s, and my people could work on hours where the public isn't coming in. We could really get some work done when the phones aren't ringing and people aren't coming in. Right now, Utah County has been trying to hire somebody since August, and they haven't been successful. Summit County called me last week because they've got somebody. They're trying to hire somebody. They're offering more money. So, like I say, another option for us, if we can't do that, maybe we could change the workforce hours, and on top of that, maybe somebody might consider us. They might get a little bit more pay, but they also might get a lot more done in their work week if they were doing a 410 schedule.
Hey, Bob, what kind of interruptions do you have for your assessor work during the normal working hours?
We've got people calling up all the time. They want to know about subdivisions, they want to know about the commercial that you've talked about. They want to know specifically what areas are zoned what, if it's residential, if it's commercial.
But they would still call during the 410 hours, right? If we were to extend
Yes.
that hour, they would still call. So you'd still have those interruptions.
Well, they have a
still
couple more
have-
hours in the day that they may not call because they've
Yeah.
expanded their hours.
Yeah, so we'd be coming in early in the mornings or staying late in the evening, so those hours that are 8 to 5,
I think you
we could
said
get
in
some
the
work done.
8 to 5 get a lot of calls. Outside of that, you don't. So the
I think
additional
what-
hours you might get more
No,
done.
what I'm
I think
yes.
what Danny's saying is once they know you're there for
Right.
10 hours, they're gonna call early in the
Oh,
morning.
that's what I think would happen.
I don't see.
Well,
Is your office totally planned? Would you like your office to totally be closed on Friday? Like nobody there, or are you gonna switch half on Monday, half on Friday?
That's what I was asking, the staggered schedule.
my plan was to have it 5 days a week, have it staggered. The State Tax Commission said, don't do that.
Why?
State Tax Commission says you'd have more productivity when you get those people working for the set time Monday through Thursday, because that's what the State Tax Commission has found out. They sat me on the couch at Assessor School and talked me out of everything that I had planned, on top of the fact that I don't have time to figure out people's schedule Monday through Friday and then stagger it and then do an area of appraising. I don't have time.
I'm sorry, but the State Tax Commission is saying either work all 5 days a week.
Monday to Thursday.
So they're saying either do Monday through Friday as you normally are, or do Monday through Thursday and don't open Friday? They were saying do one or the other?
They're saying don't open Friday, do it Monday through Thursday.
If you're going to go
The
to
state tax commission working 4 tens now,
Yeah.
so they don't want the county open. They don't want to have the county open
Yeah.
when they can come up and visit.
We have
Well, they just
Yeah,
don't
and
go on Friday.
the state tax commission don't have to serve the public.
Yeah.
The only thing they're worried about is your 29 county assessors.
and that's why they changed, they're trying to get all the counties to change this, to do
That's why
this.
they're going to get all the counties.
Because they have 29 customers.
Yeah, they got
We have
29.
30,000.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that talked me out of it, because I was willing to go along with it,
Well,
and I lost
the
my
state tax
appraisal.
commission don't have any say in this.
Well, they're looking, like we're saying, they're looking from a different approach.
Yeah.
They're not looking at serving our 30,000 citizens.
Well, I can tell you right now, the State Tax Commission is not in my office. I have already cleaned all the state sales. They're already done for this year. I went in and did that. State Tax Commission doesn't even have to come in and help me, because I've already done that. And looking at all the sales that we've just had, almost 1,500, that's what the State Tax Commission provided us. That doesn't include all the other sales that we're aware of. I've already cleaned those. That's usually not done until April. I have to get on board and get this stuff going. I'm working overtime here just to get ahead of the game, because we are not going to have the chaos we had last year when we were getting overtime, right?
Well, I
And
think,
so this is my version of,
so your request, as I hear it, I'll just for clarity, is that you would like to open your office Monday through Thursday, 10 hours a day, and be closed on Fridays.
yes, sir.
And that's based on a recommendation you feel from the State Tax Commission,
No.
whether that's,
That helped.
you propose, because I think what I'm thinking, and I don't know about the rest of you folks, is I like to have 5-day presence for our citizens. I just do. I like that idea a little better. I don't want to speak for everybody, but your original plan was to do that, and they talked you out of it. Something that might be easier for them, we could still make that decision if we were bound and determined to do 10-hour shifts. We could do a couple on Friday, somebody.
It wasn't hard for them to talk me out of it, because it was a lot of work for
If
me
I
to
could
do
work
it.
3 days a week, I would, but it just isn't feasible for,
So
you
then-
can talk me into that too. And I'm not trying to discount what you're saying. I just think if we want to have our people somewhere that they can go and get answers to their questions 5 days a week, 8 through 5, we've got to take that into consideration. We probably ought to consider a staggered plan, but that's just my opinion.
Have you asked Heber City how they're doing?
I'm aware that Heber City works 4 tens, and
I'm not saying I
necessarily
have
agree
ever
with that.
asked
That's
them.
their decision, not
Sure.
ours.
And I
I'm
haven't
quite
asked them.
frustrated with it
Yeah.
myself.
And
Because there's Fridays that I'd like to be able to go do some business.
Yeah, and I guess that's my.
If there's anybody here who can help us.
Well, I appreciate being here, and since it's my first time since I was appointed by Mayor Potter as the liaison to the county council. So I'll be here quite often, anytime especially that I see something that could affect the city. But just speaking for myself now as a city councilman, I've been suggesting for all 2 years I've been in that we go to a 5-day. I believe that our employees need to be well paid and appreciated, but recognize they're there to serve the public, not their own, I want 3 days to work somewhere else kind of approach. So I would be in support of it for the county. I am in support of it for the city, and we'll keep, I guess, beating that drum.
I don't have any problem with what he
I
said.
agree with Ron.
Hey, Steve,
Ron.
We won't tell anybody. funny, but it's on camera now.
Steve, at least I'm off the weed board. You won't have to contend with me there.
But I do agree with Ron that we need to have a presence there 5 days a week.
So how do you help me get this accomplished?
How many appraisals
I'm
have you done?
overwhelmed.
How many, I mean, I know this, I'm just telling you. I think you make the schedule. And these appraisers are on these days, and these appraisers are on these days, they equal forward, but there's always someone in the office on Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
Two of you guys could take off Monday.
Take Monday and then
How?
Friday. There's
What would you need from us to help you accomplish it? It's a scheduling.
I need another appraiser, but I'm competing against Utah County and Summit County, who's paying more.
Would 4 days
I'm
a
not gonna
week,
get one.
would a 4-day work week help you with that?
Oh
you
my
think?
gosh.
I think you said that. But we're proposing that.
I get it, yeah.
Some days they might have a Monday off instead of a Friday, which some people
Well, I
really
think
like
it
that. So
would be easier on the schedule for her to always have, hey, so-and-so always works,
Yeah.
takes off Monday, but if they needed to switch with somebody, they could
that's an
switch
internal
with
thing.
the Friday person.
That's something
That if we agreed to approve a 40-hour work week, you could just work out your schedule.
How about this? We have our data collector and our personal property person in there.
Can I answer their appraisal questions?
In some instances, yes.
In some
But in
instances,
some
no.
instances, no, because if another appraiser is off on Monday or a Friday, then I'm working double time to figure out his area and get that person an answer. Because I don't know everybody's area, and other appraisers do not know other appraisers' area, and we really shouldn't be answering that. It would be a training of the public to know Monday through Thursday we're working that. So whether it's a data collector or a personal property person or an appraiser, we can't answer other appraisers' areas for
And they
them.
can answer general appraisal questions.
Yeah.
And refer
And
them
that's
back to
probably-
when that person
That's
is not.
probably the majority of your questions is general questions.
No, not with what we're receiving, not with the quality of people that are coming into our county and wanting to purchase in our county. I'm sitting there answering stuff when I could be working, and
Like
it's
what?
about,
Like what?
like they want to know which areas of the town are the best that they could possibly go in to purchase a piece of property.
I don't know
And
I don't know if that's really the,
I got
I
that
don't
too.
know.
That's my question.
an assessor's job. That should be-
Send them to me.
Thank you. It's not my job.
But here's the deal. If someone comes in the office and has a question and wants to
Give
talk
them
to
to
an
me.
employee in the appraiser's office, we need to make sure that they can do that. If they need to be referred to someone else or need someone specific, then they can be referred to that person or specific. But to not have someone in the office when someone walks in, I think is a mistake on our part. That's just my
I get that. Majority of the people that come into our office that actually come in are to do with primary, secondary, or greenbelt. And guess what? We've given that to our data collector, those duties to her.
Okay.
In my opinion, I would like the office to be open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, with its full capability. And if you could accomplish that with a 410 stagger,
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. That's where I'm at too.
I know what you-
We have a question right here real quick. Yes.
Actually, some suggestions, if you don't mind. First of all, I don't know if you could possibly have a secretary person answering the phone, and you might look at the whole department differently, where if you're wanting specialized information, I don't see it being that outrageous to ask people to make an appointment with an appraiser, and they call in and they set an appointment to come in. That way the appraiser can look up the information before they come in.
They don't have to have
Well,
the answer
that was my
right
point when I
then.
said if she can accomplish this, and if someone needs to be referred to someone specific, then yes, they need to be and set up an appointment, or
Because who expects to walk in?
That's their job, that's their.
Right, but who expects to walk in and get an answer like that on some specialized?
Everybody.
Yeah, but it's retraining them to say, look, I'm happy to sit down with you for a half an hour, come in at this time, and then you have all the information ready for them when they come in, and it's more productive time.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I know there's an appraisal problem in the whole state, and in our business, there's not a lot of appraisers out there. This is just an idea. Is there a way we can work with the high school or UVU to get interns to come in to train to be an appraiser? Because, no, that's...
No, because the appraisal standard board went and changed it, and changed the...
And it's so difficult to be an appraiser now.
Bachelor's degree.
A bachelor's science degree before you can apply for a license anymore.
And I actually wouldn't want somebody touching my appraisal stuff.
No, I'm not saying they're doing appraisals. I'm just saying they're doing the paperwork behind...
I think that's a larger conversation than
Right.
this, but I agree with you. We need to get the pool needs to get deeper.
We have to be creative on how to bring these...
We can do about that
Okay,
today.
so what I'm hearing, does anybody, Mr. Davis?
I think what you propose would work.
No, yellow doesn't work very
You
well.
look at the hours. If you did 10-hour days, you'd have to have the office open for those 10 hours, because the office needs to be open 40 hours. If you do 8-hour day, or if you do 10-hour days staggered, you can still only have the office open from 8 to 5, and the workers can be working when the phones are off and the building's closed.
2 of those hours, 4 days a week.
2 of the hours, 5 days a week.
Well, yeah, you do the
Your
stagger.
other crew will be there all day, the others are off. Yep.
Because right now, everybody comes at 8, essentially leaves at 5. So if somebody were leaving at 6, it would then be their responsibility to lock the building up. Right now, the clerk's office takes that responsibility.
You mean on the 410s?
On the
Or
410.
10 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
And so this makes it easier. The building can still be locked up the same. The building can still be open the same. And
But you get an extra hour potentially early and late.
Why
With
would,
no
why would
distraction.
they need that?
I thought you said they did.
Excuse me, I'm talking the public.
Oh,
8 to 5 to the public.
They have 8.
that's all they get.
That's all they get.
That's all they get.
They can't call us at 7 in the morning, that we'd be back to the same problem.
Mike, how
Well, they
possible
can.
would it be to kill those phones from 5 to 7? Or, so those 2 free hours that the
It's really
county...
easy. You don't answer them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we all have a switch on our phone, and we just don't. You don't train the public to call you until, you don't retrain the public. It's just what you've always done.
They just-
You just manage your schedule to a point where you have that productive time in your day. So I think you have, I think what we've talked about here makes a lot of sense and solves your problem. It just doesn't mean you just can't, we just don't like the idea of being closed on Thursday, or excuse me, Friday. You guys, does anybody have an issue with that? I'd say if you guys, if you and Mike want to, or I think it's up to you if you have our nod to do that, isn't it?
Well, I think he needs to present a plan to Mike.
Yeah, and you guys can work that out,
We have an idea of what's going on.
knowing what we're saying.
We need a schedule that goes to Dave and to payroll so that we can keep the, because the time clocks have to be set to accommodate that for the people that come in at those times. They are set.
First of all, I would say, I don't want to forget one thing. Until the DMV moves, I don't think we do anything.
I
Is
agree.
that fair?
I-
When the
That's why I've
DMV
held
moves,
off.
then we can do it. But until that moves, and then you, Mike, and Dave sit down and work that out, and you come up with a plan, present it to him, he gives it to Dave, however that works out between the two of you, and we'll move forward from there.
I've talked to we've hashed this over 100 times, and one of the ideas is to have 3 of the appraisers have every Friday off for 6 months, and the other half have every
Well, that's a
Monday.
scheduling thing with you.
However you do it, as long as we're covered, I think we're good. As long as you're open 5 days a week.
Okay. Thank you very much for your
And
time.
this also helps it with the other offices. Because we close your office at 4 days, 1 day a week, we'd have other officers coming in and say, I want to do the same
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I think if I were appraised, now I don't know, but if I could go do a 4-day work week, that'd be something I'd look at heavy. If wages were the same and I could go here and work 4 days, or I had to go there and work 5, I think it helps you a little bit, maybe recruiter, appraiser, I don't know, but
It helps.
for me, that would be.
It helps the appraisers because of the wages, and so that they can have a fee appraisal job on the side. if they
Yeah,
have
gives them an
that
extra
for-
day of the week to do their own stuff.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I probably would wish you could work 4 days. a week.
Yeah. If I didn't take off early to go to county council meetings, my boss would love me.
Thank you.
All